Hey everybody, another car side chat with me. I've had a lot of people reach out over the last few weeks since nationals and asked how I'm doing. So number one, I appreciate that. Love all of you. Thank you to those friends and family that have reached out. And I have mentioned this very briefly on previous posts about me committing self-sabotage at USOA nationals in March. So let's talk about it. Oh gosh. I got so in my head. I've done this to myself one other time in competition, and I couldn't let things go. And because of that, my on and off battles with insomnia are still present. I may have talked about it in the past, but insomnia still rears its ugly head every now and then. Thankfully, at this point in my life, it's not for months at a time, but sometimes days at a time, or even some weeks, and then it tapers off. So let's rewind to Friday morning. Actually, let's rewind even before that, the day before interviews even start. Thursday, I'm at the hotel, I'm all settled in, I'm feeling great. I have my consultation with my beauty team, with Xana Artistry. Shout out to Xana team and Z and Fernanda, my glam squad. And I'm back in my room, I'm all settled in, I'm good. And then that night, I don't sleep. And when I say I don't sleep, I mean I don't sleep. I maybe got an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I get up and I go on a run because sleep or no sleep, regardless, the only way to get my brain firing on any sort of cylinder is to move and get a heart rate session up and sweat on. I just know that about myself, even on days where I've slept well, or even on days when I haven't slept well. If I do not move first thing in the morning, I am incredibly tired and lethargic all day. So I get up, I go on a run. It's about 4:30 in the morning. And during my run, at some point, I lose my hotel room key. And of course, I don't have my ID on me at this point either. So at around 5:15, I have to go to the front desk after running my 3 miles. And because I don't have my ID, I can't prove who I am, and I can't prove that I have a room booked at this particular hotel. They have to call security. 2 security guards have to come to the front desk and escort me up to my room. Now at this point, from getting to the front desk, it has been about 20 minutes of waiting to get into my room. And I know how long it takes me precisely down to the minute of hair and makeup. At this point, I'm doing my own hair and makeup for orientation. That's okay. I was gonna get my hair done after orientation for interview. And I was just doing sleek straight. I can do that in my sleep, so to speak. I finally get in my room after about half an hour. They let me into my room. I show them my ID. I finally get going on getting ready. I somehow make up some time. I don't know how or why or where, but I make up some time. I make it to orientation in time. We had to be at the door at 7:45. I was there by 7:45. We get our swag bags, yada, yada, yada. I'm in orientation. Now, if you know this system, and this is part of the opportunity we are given to compete, we are gifted an incredible swag bag of over 30 plus sponsored items, which is fantastic. It is thousands of dollars worth of gifts, materials, donated items from businesses. As a business owner, I love it and I see the benefit of it. That's part of why we love this system. And also the opportunity is to share about all of those separate businesses over the weekend. So roughly 30 posts need to be done during the weekend. That's fine. I've been here before. I know my game plan, my strategy. We're gonna be good. During orientation, my brand new phone that I specifically got for this weekend because my old phone was out of storage. It had the minimal amount of storage capacity on that device. So about a week before, I got a new phone that had the 1 terabyte, chef's kiss to that, storage amount on my phone. So, excuse me, I have this great working new phone. Yay! I can get all the content I need for 30 sponsored posts. So about 10 a day. During orientation, my brand new phone goes dead on me. And I'm not talking, oh, it just ran out of battery, I just need to plug it in. No. It somehow shuts down and goes into full recovery mode, meaning pair with an old iPhone to set up as a new iPhone and start from scratch. And it wouldn't even turn on besides a blank screen showing two phones matching like this. I'm now freaking out about this during orientation when I'm supposed to be thinking about other things, getting myself in state for interview, which is happening later that day. And now I am freaking out. So I leave orientation. I go to hair and makeup room to get done up for interview. In between all of this, I also have to go into the B-roll footage and do my B-roll and opening number dress before interview. Thankfully, I had that opening dress with me because I'd got it at orientation, so that's good. But I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to get my phone working. Thankfully, I had my old phone, but it was up in my room. So somebody graciously went up and grabbed my old phone for me. They were able to use my room key at this point. It gets them into the room. They bring my old phone, trying to pair it. There's not enough Wi-Fi, however, in that ballroom that we were in there, that conference room, to pair the two phones together. So it just keeps spinning and it's trying to connect and it won't. And I'm still just trying to get myself in state for interview, put myself in state, go through my process, go through my mental program. Like, okay, think this, take this deep breath, do all these things to physically change your physiology to get ready for interview. And it's just not working. I cannot get in the right state of mind. So then I go, I get my hair done. I'm good. I feel like I look fabulous, or at least I liked my look. And then I go do B-roll footage. Okay, now I need to go to my room. I needed some snacks by this point too, just to help calm myself down. My snacks are in my room. My interview dress is in my room. Everything I need is in my room, and my sash is in there too. I walk up to my room. I'm locked out of my room. I have 2 keys on me. Neither one will work. And I start to panic. I hit a full-on panic mode and I start running up and down the hallway like a crazy lady, trying to find anybody to let me into my room. Previously, on my way to my room, I had walked by the check-in desk, and this is around noon at this point, packed to the max. Obviously, people are checking in. They're getting in from flights. They're taking Ubers and taxis to get to the hotel. I don't have time to wait in that line. It's at least an hour long. I find a maid who thankfully lets me into my room. I finally get dressed and I am hustling to get to interview at this point. And that is not me. If you know me, I want to be down at that interview room 20 minutes before. If they want us down 10 minutes before, I want to be 20 minutes down before. Put myself in state, listen to my calming music with my headphones on, and breathe deeply before I walk into that interview room. And I walk up as they are calling my interview group in. I had 0 moments to spare. 30 seconds later and I would have been late. I would have missed my interview altogether. So I quickly run through my mental program to get myself in interview state. It works somewhat. And I follow through with my interviews. I feel as though it's hard because hindsight tells me one thing now that I'm on the other side. But in that moment, when I walked out of an interview room, I felt like I was a failure. I felt as though I bombed it completely. And if you know me, that is never how I feel out of an interview room, ever. I feel really proud, and I always feel really good about interview. Always. I've never walked out of an interview room feeling the way that I did that day. And it's because I felt so frazzled and rushed and just not in the right state. And my default mode whenever I'm interviewing is to be very professional and almost buttoned up, well spoken still. My issue is never filler words, likes, yeahs. I don't struggle with that personally. I value that, and I'm not trying to be hard on anybody else that struggles with those things. That's just never been the hardest struggle for me to eliminate the filler words. But my default interview mode is very business-like, which works in other scenarios. If it's a business interview, interview with the news, an interview with a potential employer, that works in those settings when they're longer format. In this scenario, you need to connect with storytelling and genuinely showing who you are. And I do that, but I have to be in the right state of mind in order to do it. And my training that I have done to put myself in that mental state, I just couldn't do that day. I didn't get there in time to do that. And I just felt like I didn't do well. I felt like I bombed interview, honestly. That I thought I got zeros across the board. And then I was able to leave the interview room, had to figure out what was going on with my room and the key situation, go down to the front desk, have to wait in line. Turns out they intentionally locked me out of my room over $30 that I got charged at the business center to pick up a package, even though I asked, do I owe you anything at the business center? She said no. I have a card on file with the hotel at this point. They didn't charge that, so they just decide over the $30 to lock me out of my room. That's a topic for another day, but I was able to get the charge taken care of right then and there at the front desk and get new room keys issued. So all of that over $30. Apparently that had similar situations had happened to other people. I digress. The rest of the day, I could not let it go. When I say that I was so wrapped up in my head, I couldn't sleep. So my insomnia reared its terrible, ugly head again. And if you know my health history and my struggles with insomnia, at my worst point, I was only sleeping an hour or two a day in the afternoon. And it doesn't make you function properly. If anybody's ever struggled with sleep, and I couldn't sleep the rest of the weekend. I maybe all in all over the next 3 days, so Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, maybe got 3 hours of sleep total as I'm preparing for on-stage competition where you have to have energy and light and joyfulness. And I just couldn't. So Saturday night comes, well, both Saturday afternoon and Saturday night for preliminary competitions, swimsuit, and then evening gown. I pull from whatever reserves I have. I felt okay about both performances. There were some things I wanted to change about both, but it turns out, and I've showed about this, that I won fitness in the preliminary. Didn't think that was in the realm of possibilities for me. And then evening gown, I was in the top 3 on my performance, tied for second place. And then I go into Sunday night, 6 p.m. I haven't slept for 3 days, and I'm just depleted and overspent and exhausted. And I tried to fake it, and you cannot fake it in this scenario. It didn't feel natural for me because I was so tired and I was pouring from an empty cup. Have you ever heard that expression before? You cannot pour from an empty cup. I was completely empty, nothing more to pour, and that resonates with the audience and the judges subconsciously, whether one wants to admit it or not. And I did get called into final night top finalists, so that's a blessing, and I felt honored to be in that group. And I performed my fitness routine. I actually felt better about it than the previous night, which is ironic because that's the night that the previous night was when I won the top score. That's neither here nor there, but I did not advance. And here's why. That self-sabotage. I had gotten so in my head. I was so wound up tighter than a clock, as one would say, and I couldn't be myself. And that is what is necessary in this sort of competition, is you have to be yourself. You have to be joyful. And that's the energy I always try to tap into, is joyful, engaging, loving this opportunity, having fun on stage. And I genuinely do. In retrospect, in all of my competitions, I always have fun on stage, regardless of the outcome. And this time, I wasn't having fun because I was so depleted, and I was having to psych myself up and pump myself up in the backstage area just to even go out there and step foot on that stage. Have you guys ever seen the movie Cool Runnings? And Sanka goes around and he starts tapping everybody on their helmet, and they go, "What are you doing, Sanka?" And he's like, "It's what the Swiss do to psych themselves up." And that was the day they performed the worst on their bobsled. That's how I felt. I was psyching myself up so much to pull from energy that I didn't have, that I wasn't being authentic to myself on that stage. And whether somebody wants to admit it or not, that read off to the judges as off-putting, and I get it. I had to have some weeks to reflect on it and really be at peace with how I felt going onto that stage. You know, last year when I made top 3, it really was fun every single step of the way. Prelims to finals night, every time I was about to go on stage, I just got to say to myself, I get to go glide in an evening gown with heels on and share my heart with this audience as I'm about to answer an onstage question. And it just felt fun and natural. And I think that's what obviously showcased to my ability to resonate with the judges, connect with them heart to heart, and make the top 3. Versus this year, I was not there, both emotionally here and here. And you've got to have both. In pageantry, you've got to be resilient in how you approach your competition and how you're approaching everything that's happening over the weekend. And you've got to connect from both this part and this part. But if you're not coming from a place here in the heart, that is what is going to hold you back more than anything. As I look back at footage, videos of my final night performance, from the outside perspective, just on video, it looks great. But I know that exhaustion and the not being present emotionally showed to the judges, and they felt it. I felt it, they felt it, and therefore I didn't advance. It is what it is at this point. And I just want to use that to encourage you to, number 1, keep going. But number 2, find ways to be at peace with no matter what happens, especially during competition. If I just would have let things go on Friday after interview, I probably would have done much better in my performances on stage the rest of the weekend, and I probably would have slept. Let's be honest, if I just would have slept, I would have been more joyful, had more energy to provide on stage, and I would have done better overall. Would I have won? I don't think so. Emily was obviously meant to win this year. It wasn't my year. That's okay. But I think I would have been much happier with my performance post performance in retrospect. Hindsight is always 20/20, right? And I don't know what the future holds for me, but if I can encourage you to come back to that, let things go, and the ability to say, let them do what they're going to do. Let me do what I'm going to do. And I know I'm not the one that originated that phrase. That's a Mel Robbins phrase. It's a book. I've read the book. It's great. If I just would have let it happen, I would have been much more mentally equipped to handle the rest of the weekend and sleep. Number 1, sleep. And not that I slept a lot last year. I was probably averaging 4 to 5 hours last year, but that's much better than 30 to 45 minutes a night. Yes, I think we can all agree on that. So, to summarize, let it go. Don't live in your own head. Don't try to be perfect. Get sleep and come from a place of joy and authenticity. And if it's your time, the judges will feel that. Last year, I was able to let things go on Friday after interview. Thankfully, it was after interview. But I had something come to my attention and it was made known, and it could have set me off. It could have been, well, now I have no chance. I might as well just pack my bags and go home. But I let it roll off my back. And I said, you know what? It just means that I'm a competitor and I'm here to play. And I let it roll off my back, and I just went through the rest of the weekend doing my thing. And obviously it worked. This year, I didn't. I didn't let interview day go. I couldn't let it go. And this is something I found out after the fact. So a week and a half after competition was over, and I have my recap call with our national director. So another reason the system is amazing is you actually get feedback. You can go through your performance with the director. She doesn't give raw numbers, but you can know where you placed at in certain categories. Turns out I still did extremely well in interview. I was still in the top contenders after all of that happened on interview day. And if I would have just let it go, and slept the rest of the weekend, I probably would have had the energy to perform on stage when necessary. But self-sabotage, it'll kill you in many more ways than you even expect. So thank you for coming to my Instagram TED Talk. I don't even know how many parts this is going to end up being, but I will split it up into multiple parts. And just trying to think of anything else I wanted to say. It was a rough weekend for me. I appreciate everybody that came out for me and supported me. And I'm proud that I still got to compete on finals night. And thank you for loving me no matter what and helping me in all the ways that you could. So we'll see. I don't know what the future holds, but if anything, I'm still going to keep working with clients, still going to keep running my business, being a mom, doing all the things that I can, and hopefully inspiring other women to reach for their own goals, whether that's through motherhood and the Map to Motherhood resources and educating her, to empowering women with clothing and style and helping her feel confident every time she walks into a room, to uplifting women with stories of hope on my podcast and featuring other women that have battled and walked through infertility, all of it. That is our USOA model: empower, inspire, and uplift. So I'm gonna keep doing it, crown or no crown. Like I said to a couple of the judges, what are you gonna do if you don't win? And I said, I'm still gonna do the work. Crown or no crown, I'm still here to make a difference in this world, to leave my mark and to spread a message, and that's what I'm doing. Still doing the podcast, still doing my business, still making appearances. I'm still putting in the work. You haven't seen the last of me yet. So hopefully you're sticking around for the story to unfold. All right. Love you all with style and grace. I'm Deidre Murphy.